Hello friends, I'm Janice. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I like to knit and crochet things. And as a knitter, we all know that there's almost never a time that you knit or crochet something that you are 100% satisfied with. There's always something you want to change about it. Maybe it's too tight or too loose. And today, we're going to go through a few of my knitted items and see how we can fix the minor problems. First up, we have this puff tee by Knitting for Olive. I love the yarn so much, I got it from a yarn store while I was traveling in Paris last summer. It was my first time knitting with mohair, and I wasn't really quite used to having small bits of mohair flying around me while knitting. As for the tee, I knitted a bit too big, the collar felt a bit too loose on my body. It doesn't create a puffy effect. So instead of going back and start all over again, I'm going to thread a thin elastic band around the collar and make it appear smaller. This method worked because the collar was double layered. I got this threading tool very cheap off Shein, and it helped a lot during the threading process. After threading the elastic band through the collar, I adjusted the elastic band so it's fitting nicely. Then I trimmed off the excess elastic and tied a knot at the two ends. We first began with 69 centimeters for the collar, which was quite wide. And after threading the elastic band, we are down to 60 centimeters, which makes a huge difference. I'm so happy with how it turned out and did the same adjustments to the second puff tee. I got this yarn from a local yarn store in Toronto, and the dye is absolutely gorgeous. The third project that I like to do a knit flip on is this Daruma Sailor Collar sweater. I knitted it absolutely too big, it's not even oversized. The V-neck is too low and wide for me. If I don't pull up the sweater and wear it normally, the neckline opens up almost down to the middle of my chest. And if I pull up the sweater and make the neckline a bit upwards, the back is wide open, which looks kind of weird. So in order to make it look more fitting, I decided to sew up a few inches on the collar to make it appear smaller. I'm just threading the same yarn in a tapestry needle and do a simple stitch across the collar, up until the length that I want. And now the sailor collar fits me so much better than before, and I'm so happy with the result. The fourth project is also from Daruma. It's a fair eel sweater. I knitted the sleeves way too long, and it does not work well with my daily life, especially when it's super cold in Toronto and you always have to wear a bulky down jacket on top. So I decided to shorten the sleeves by taking down around 15 centimeters. I threaded a piece of scrap yarn through a tapestry needle and threaded the yarn across the desired row. After threading the scrap yarn across the whole row, I'm frogging the upper part like so. Once I reach the scrap yarn, I'm threading the knitting needles back and continue knitting the sleeve cuff. Once the right sleeve is done, I did the same on the left sleeve. And now I have two perfectly fitting sleeves, and I can finally wear it without hiding my hands all the time. The fifth project is a free-handed loopy stitch cami that I designed last year. I'm pretty proud of the body part since I didn't know how to do a loopy stitch before, but the straps looked a bit too crafty for my personal taste, so I decided to frog the two straps and try a different type of stitch for it. I googled and found that the I-cord stitch should be the most clean and suitable stitch for this cami. First, I frogged the two straps and used stitch markers to mark where the strap ends. Then I picked up 5 stitches and knit stitch across. Once the first row is finished, you usually flip the project and continue knitting with the working yarn on the right side of the project. But for I-cord stitch, once you reach the end of your row, you move the whole thing to the beginning of the knitting needle and move the working yarn from the left side to the right side, like so. You repeat this for every row and you will get a very clean looking strap for the cami. I'm so glad that I decided to change the straps and go with the I-cord stitch. It definitely looks a lot cleaner and I would for sure wear this out as a layering piece in the fall and winter season. The last project is also from Daruma. It's a wrap-up warm-up mittens from the 2023 pattern book. I didn't buy the original yarn and also didn't knit a gauge. Hence, I have two overly big mittens that might probably fit my feet. I also knitted the second cuff wrong since I didn't read the pattern properly. Since the knitting started at the cuff, there's no way that I can make any changes. To make sure the mittens won't fall off my hands, I decided to add an elastic band across so that I can at least have it stay secure on my hands. I first measured the length of the elastic band. Be sure not to cut it too short as it will be too tight when you're wearing it. Then I first sewed the two ends of the elastic band together like so that the elastic band will be fairly equal once I'm stitching while stretching it. The results are not perfect. There's a weird cinched in portion on both of my mittens and the cuff are not the same. But I can at least wear it outside when it's cold and won't have to worry about it falling off my hands. Thank you all for staying till the end. There's a few things that I've learned throughout the knitting process and flipping process. The first thing is that to never skip knitting a gauge. This saves up lots of time at the end and you will be sure to have a piece of clothing that will fit you perfectly. The second thing is to never trust your memory when it comes to knitting a pair of items like mittens and socks. Be sure to reread the patterns you go through since you might forget some very important details. The third thing is to remember to read the pattern carefully as most of the time the cuff and collar uses a smaller needle and then the main part uses a bigger size needle. Be sure to look for where to switch needles. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye now!